que somos malos buenos y tenemos fe que el dinero ya lo veré. No vendo mi alma, lo lograré. Seré.
Copyright. Can't do that. Oh my gosh. So we got 7 minutes. I'm having so many technical issues over here. It is not funny at all. But we're figuring it out. Hopefully we can figure this all out together. Together. That's the plan. I am so glad you all are here to join me as we embark on celebrating the life of Kevin R. Samuels. The Kevin Samuels. The original OG. The Godfather. The original Top G. Alright? But, yeah. Let's shout out to him real quick. Let's see what we got here. Ultra! 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 No. We gotta do better than that. Ultra! That's what the hell I'm talking about. Let it be known. Let it be known. This should be really interesting. I don't know what this video is going to be about. I don't know who's hosting it. I don't know much detail about it just beyond it's celebrating Kevin Samuels' life. But hopefully it should be interesting. Let's see. It should definitely be interesting. Hoping that it's interesting. But like I said, it's good to see all of you here. I'm interested in seeing what this is going to be about. I just thought that it would be nice to stream it all with all of you here as well. And let's just be real. There's never going to be no one like Kevin Samuels. It's just not. Come on. Oh, yeah. Telling you, man.
You're so dumb.
So, yeah. We're going to be seeing what this is about. I'm going to probably stream it. I don't know how long I'm going to stream it for. But I imagine that if it's interesting, I'm probably going to stream for a while. If not, I'm going to just leave it as is and just kind of let it go. It looks like I'm about 20 seconds ahead in terms of the live stream. So for those of you who are watching, I am 20 seconds ahead. Be mindful of that. I'm sure you would probably see a little bit of a difference seeing it here as opposed to going to his page directly. But either way, if you're watching it by yourself, why not watch it with me, right? You could be here, watch it with me. We can enjoy it together. If you all have any questions or concerns, if you want to talk about something in the comment section, I can see all of your comments here in the comment section. So if you want to discuss anything, if you want to share anything, just be sure to post it in the chat and I'll be able to see it. How about that? I'll be able to see everything that you all want to share, discuss, and we could talk about it. I could talk about it in real time. All right? I'm not going to hit you with the...
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
I'm not going to hit you with none of that unless you genuinely say something cuckoo, but we'll see. We'll see. We really want to pay our respects to Kevin, and I'd imagine sometime in the future that there would be quite a bit of documentaries and books being written about Kevin Samuels. I think he did change a lot in black community on a global scale, but particularly in Western culture, there was a lot that needed to be discussed, but there was a lot that was ignored. Just to kind of, for those of you who don't know about Kevin Samuels, he is a image coach and a consultant, and that's how he made his living. Was he helped men and women, and for men, he helped them be the best version of themselves, tell them what they need to do to accomplish their goal of getting higher status, getting a wife, having a family, having a foundation. And for women, he tells women that he gives them the honest truth. He tells a lot of women that for the type of man you think you deserve or you think you want, you may not qualify for this type of woman. So you have to keep that in mind, because you have most women going after the top 10%, the top 5%, the top 2% of men. And when that happens, you have a lot of these average guys who are just not getting any play whatsoever. And you have a lot of below average and average women all thinking that they qualify for well above average men. And we all know that that's not really the case. And oftentimes you'll just hear, and
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
because they would ignore all of these normal men. But wait, they have their list of expectations and they have their list of requirements, but they're not wanting to do really what it is they need to do in order to get the man they say they want. And that's been the dilemma. And so you have a lot of average men that's being bypassed by average women, because all of these below average and average women all think that they qualify for an above average man. So it's just interesting. It's fascinating. And I've been kind of hooked on this for a while. And to be honest, I think that this is something that a lot of men should really strive for, to just be the best version of themselves and open up their horizon to other opportunities. Don't just think that you're limited to your immediate surroundings, your immediate network, your immediate community. I mean, if they don't want you, you could go elsewhere where people do want you. So I think that's been a huge benefit of Kevin. But we got 5 seconds to go. 5 seconds, and here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome. My name's Jeff. I am what Kevin would always call
Can't hear
his best friend. I'm the person that Kevin would bounce things off of, as he would say, level setting. I was one of the level setters in his life. I was one of the people Kevin would call on to make sure he was trying to be on his path and mission. And today we want to recognize Kevin, remember Kevin. Today would have been his birthday. And I'm just want to share with you maybe some few stories about Kevin real quick, things that you all maybe haven't heard, and things that let you kind of know who he was and who he was to me personally. Now, when I met Kev, and I would say Kevin, I would say, man, this guy walked in when I met him. Probably like some of you watching, man, he's just to the point. He's direct. I don't know if I like this guy. I don't like the way he's talking. He seems cocky. He seems arrogant. Yeah, I thought that too. That's what I thought of him. He's full of himself. But after getting to know him, after having some conversations, after he and I really sat down, I really saw who he was. He really was somebody that when I first met him, we were working together, and those were the impressions I got from him. But then in working with him, I saw a humble person, someone who wanted to be better, someone who came up to me and said, hey, show me what you're doing so I can be better at what we're doing, and I can be, have better success in my selling. And that conversation showed me right then and there, this guy is not what I thought he was. I let my own filters of seeing someone 6'4", 6'5", clean dressed, sharp dressed, walked in, he had confidence. But we always misinterpret confidence as arrogance. And I totally missed it. It wasn't cockiness or arrogance. It was just somebody who just believed in himself. And truth be told, most of us don't believe in ourselves because we take that as a pushback. And I did, Honestly, I did, like most people. But getting to know Kev really let me know this guy was much more than just a sharp-dressed man. This brother was caring. He loved his family, loved his mom, loved his daughter, just loved people in general, and wanted everyone to have more success in life. And I think if you really watch his channel, you really see that. If you are a Kevin Samuels fan, you've heard what he says, and you felt his heart felt pleased to people to be better. He didn't have to have a YouTube show 3 hours a night, 3 days a week in the world. Kevin talked to people from, when I say all over the world, I mean all over the world. China, Australia, England. He had people that he talked to, not fans necessarily, but people that wanted some help. And Kevin wanted to make sure he could help them. So he took time out. Yeah, they paid him for time, but he gave everything he could to people. And when you talk to people that had consultations with him, and I've talked to quite a few of them, they were thankful for the time he spent with them. And he was the person that would talk to them in a way that they needed to be talked to. And on the show, he did that too. He talked to people the way people need to be talked to sometimes. And for a lot of us, we didn't like the way he maybe said something. I didn't like everything Kevin said, but I knew why he was saying it. And I knew he wanted that person he was talking to hear it. And you've heard him say, when you go in the emergency room, the doctors, you're having life-threatening ailments, doctors sometimes get really direct with you. And Kevin was direct sometimes. And sometimes directness hurts. Honesty hurts sometimes. We want to be massaged. And he didn't massage people's egos and their everything. But
Hey, if y'all can, be sure to
he didn't
like this
massage
video.
mine.
I appreciate it.
Trust me, we had some matches, some yelling, mostly from me at him, but we always came back to.
Yeah, that's
people
just how the video
trying to help me
is.
be
The
better.
video is really low.
And I was only trying to help him be better. And when he would call after
can't
the show,
turn it up anymore.
before the shows that you saw, sometimes it was just like, it was good, man. Like you were trying to, you did your best. And that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to give his best, do his best for the audience and for the person he was talking to. He wanted the person he was talking to have more for their life. And those conversations meant so much to him, and the audience meant so much to him, and he didn't take any of it for granted. He worked harder than anybody than I've ever known in my life. Like I said, those shows he did, you saw him do the shows. You didn't see what he didn't show you, which is his consults every day, 6-7 days a week. He did consults on Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day. The Thanksgiving before he actually passed, that Thanksgiving, he had a consult that day, and I told him, hey man, don't have a consult that day. Go spend time with your family on this day. Oh no, they're gonna be okay. I know he had the consult because he was that dedicated to the people. And that dedication never wavered. He always had North Star, and I told him his North Star was to have more black families, more husbands and wives, support the community, uplifting families. He wanted to see more of that. And when he said on the show, he absolutely meant it. He wants that. He wanted it, he wants it, and his legacy is going to be for that to occur for him, in this lifetime, that will go past him. But the time he was here, man, my friend was just incredible. Incredible. He was humbled by the success from the time that Average at Best happened. He called me literally like the day after it hit, and it was getting 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 100,000, close to 1 million views. He says, hey man, like it's happening. And I just told him, I said, man, you ready? I said, "Are you ready? Because it's coming." He was like, "Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready." And in being ready, that meant never forgetting what he told you, where he came from. Being from Oklahoma, being from Oklahoma City, being from a single parent house, growing up, not with everything. Not to say he was broken poor. He wasn't necessarily broken poor. He wasn't. But he didn't have everything. And everything is relative, right? Relative to your own life. You see somebody that has something you don't have, then they have maybe more than you. But he didn't want for a lot of things in his life. But he didn't have everything. None of us usually do. But what he did have, man, he had lots of love. He came from love, and he gave love. Now, on the show, some people say, "Oh, he was evil. He was mean. He was great." But what he never was he was never one that wanted to truly hurt anyone's feelings. He didn't want to hurt people. He wanted people to be better. Now, he wasn't a pushover, right? You couldn't just talk to him any kind of way. I couldn't talk to him any kind of way. Nobody could. Nobody in his entire life. Talking to his mom. She'll tell you, you couldn't talk to him any kind of way because he'd tell you his opinion and you may not like it, but he's going to give it to you. And guess what? He had a show where he gave his opinion. What else? Like the best thing for him, a place for him to speak his mind. But his mind was always on one thing, helping people. He wanted to see the family unit happen again and grow. And so in this year from his passing, a year from his birth date, you know him as the Godfather. I just know him as Kevin. Kev to me. He called me before shows. He called me after shows. So my phone would ring. I'm an hour behind when he was in Atlanta. His show would be over midnight. My phone would ring. I'm laying in bed sometimes. I knew it was him. I take his call. Because he was calling me not to brag about anything on the show. Usually it was when you saw him exhausted at the end of some of those calls, he was exhausted. He was worn out. He was questioning, should I keep doing this some nights? And I tell him, I say, man, what's your North Star? Why are you doing this? You got a purpose. You got a purpose. You started for a purpose, continue for a purpose. He did. He kept it for a purpose. So I miss my friend way more than probably you guys miss the Godfather, Kevin Samuels. My best friend. Love him, miss him. But just know, I know he's looking down on us, celebrating with us today as we celebrate him. So thank you guys for being here to celebrate Kevin Samuels, one of my best friends in the entire world. Love him and miss him. I know you do too. Thanks for being here.
Hello, I'd like to first say happy birthday to the late, great Kevin Samuels, and I want to acknowledge his presence in his life. Although he is now gone on with the ancestors, his work will not be forgotten. I had the pleasure of being able to hang out with him on his last birthday while he was here with us, and it was my honor and pleasure to spend that evening with him. I didn't know it was his birthday. He kind of surprised us with the fact that it was his birthday, and I have a couple of videos I'd like to share with you guys. They're definitely very interesting and very funny. So here's one.
She's the other YouTuber, the woman that's sitting next to her. What's her name?
And so that's how I like to remember him, and I hope you all will remember him that same way. He was once you got him to loosen up a little bit, as much as he could loosen up, right? The man literally said that he enjoyed his suits, but no, he was a great guy. His impact is being felt around the world. Brilliant mind, brilliant salesman, wonderful personality. He was everything that we needed when he came through. I know that the good Lord has a reason for whatever he does and whatever, so I don't question the Lord. Of course, we wish he could have stayed a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, he made such a great impact on the world that he will always be remembered. And so I just want to acknowledge his family and his friends and his mother and his daughter and his best friend, Jeff. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you for keeping his spirit alive. I got one more video I'd like to share with y'all, and you can check it out.
I don't see this.
Yeah, so that's it, man. That's it. Rest in peace, Kevin. We appreciate you. We love you. We respect you. We honor you. Thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. As I always say, this is Uncle D. I'm out. And God bless you, and God bless this wonderful man's memory.
You know, Kevin was
Oh,
a person
O'Shea
that was
Duke
very
Jackson.
forward-thinking, very ambitious. None of us as content creators would be able to hold a torch or even step in his shoes. But what he's done for not even just, you know, black content creators, but black men in general, was to really give black men a source of identity as far as controlling our image and controlling our ability to be somebody, and that we could be what we thought we could be if we just went out and tried. And that's something that Kevin Samuels doesn't get a lot of credit for. He gets credit for, let's say, holding women accountable, or letting women know the reality of where they may have been in the dating market. But in the real sense, Kevin Samuels' content was about the high value man, and the high value man had some level of accountability to be able to make his own decisions. And I never knew anybody in this business that worked like Kevin Samuels. He was working all the time. He was always trying to get himself into better circles. He was always trying to better himself, sell himself in as far as what value he could offer, and he did that. He loved collaboration. He was never a jealous brother, and that's what I really, really, really love about him so much. And I think a lot of people get Kevin Samuels and his content misconstrued. You know, he was a brother that was very forward thinking. He thought about things before he did it. And I learned how to also be forward thinking and ambitious. I also want to give credit to Kevin Samuels for what he did for dating and relationships. People look at what he did as far as, you know, holding people accountable, those viral moments. But Kevin Samuels, the reason that many people loved him, like as far as women, was the fact that he brought a lot of men and women together. People don't want to realize that Kevin Samuels had a large female following, and that female following wanted to become more fit, feminine, and beautiful for the men that they wanted. And that's something that he doesn't get a lot of credit for. But I want to give him credit for doing just that. I know many people, numerous people who got married because of Kevin Samuels. I know of marriages that were saved. I want to talk about one particular time. You know, Kevin was trying to recruit me to come to Atlanta, and it would have worked, but he just ended up passing, right? So he's like, O'Shea, you know, we should come to Atlanta because people know you, and you know, we can do a lot together. Of course, I was the kind of guy that did a lot of the background work and did a lot of the connecting work for Kevin, and he was the person that was, you know, in the camera. But I did a lot of things behind the scenes for Kevin Samuels and some other brothers in our space. But before we ended that call, there was a gentleman that stopped Kevin that happened to be an Atlanta police officer. And I heard him in the background, yo, Kevin. I would always hear that whenever me and him was on the phone. He would always get people walking up to him and yelling and yelling and yelling. I have another good friend of mine on YouTube, a brother named Ward Maya. And every time I see Ward Maya, people are always yelling at him to stop and acknowledging him. And that's the same kind of celebrity status that Kevin Samuels had, if not even more. So this particular guy was like, Kevin, man, you know, before your show, me and my fiance were getting ready to split up. But after listening to you and the way you break things down, you know, my woman's been appreciating me. She's been acting right. We're getting ready to be back on the track of getting married. And Kevin don't know you don't know what you've done for me. Is there anything I can do for you? And Kevin was like, nah, man, I'm just glad I was able to do that. But that was a story that Kevin transcended the red pill. He transcended the black manosphere community. There was white men that loved Kevin. When Kevin passed, I saw comments of people saying if Kevin came to Australia, he would have sold out any stadium. My editor is from Russia. And when Kevin died, it was men in Russia that was mourning. And you never thought about how a black man from Oklahoma City who did a live stream at 10 o'clock at night trying to reach the black community had so much of an impact on the world. And he allowed women to be able to see themselves, and he could communicate with women in ways that many of us as black men could not and still cannot. And that's why somebody like Kevin Samuels comes around once every 200 years, I will believe, because his uncanny ability to relate, and not only just relate, but to inspire both men and women. So on this day, I want to give my gratitude to our fallen brother for what he's done for me, not only just in this business, but personally. I'm a very hardworking YouTuber, but Kevin really inspired me to want to take it to the next level. And so many of the projects that me and him had, we have one that he inspired me. I don't want to mention the name of it right now, but if it wasn't for Kevin, I wouldn't have that. So I just want to, tell his family that I love Kevin Samuels. He's always going to be dear, and it's hard to still believe that he's gone. The last time I talked to him was on May the 2nd, and on May the 5th, he was gone. So I just want to cherish the moment, and I appreciate being able to be invited to speak on his behalf and on this great day. So thank you so much for having me, and we'll always remember the great Kevin Roshan Samuels.
What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels.
And that brother's
I'm
actually
incredibly
from
honored to be
Sacramento.
able to speak on and then share some of the experiences that I had with Kevin Samuels as a good friend. I think that he was
Anton.
incredibly insightful. The short amount of time that he had on this earth, because he was taken from us too early, in my opinion, but that's not up to me, that's up to God. I'm very, very, very thankful to have had a friendship with him in the first place. And I think that the things that he espoused and the words that he shared with us, the entertainment that he provided us, it still lives on today. I see it in so many different people. I don't think that the spirit of Kevin Samuels will ever die, because it's affected so many people in so many positive ways. I think that our friendship specifically, and I'll share a couple different things that I've learned from him, even when he didn't realize that I was learning from him. Kev would call me occasionally and would invite me up to go watch shopping up in New York. And the one time that I wasn't able to do it, he laughed at me. And he said, "Anton, what's going on? You getting soft?" And I was like, "No, Kev, I got a daughter that I got to get to school today." And he just started cracking up. He was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot," or whatever, so on and so forth. But I think that the biggest takeaway from Kevin, and the biggest thing that I learned, had nothing to do with any of the stuff, the watches, the superficial stuff. Although Kev was fly. And I think that that's another thing that he doesn't get credit for, is his influence on guys to be able to step their game up, not just in their ability to be able to become better men when it comes to relationships and getting their money up, but also carrying themselves a certain type of way. He held a standard that I think that most people would agree with, in saying that you have to be the best version of yourself, even when it comes to how it is that you present yourself to the general public. And the thing that I absolutely cherish the most about him is that he would push me. And he would push me without necessarily trying to push me when it comes to what it is that he said to me, but what it is that he said about himself. And he would say, "I know you're not about to let a 50-plus-year-old man outwork you, Anton." And I think that you can see that work ethic today. I'm not necessarily successful because of anything that I'm doing that's any more unique than anybody else. I think that I am heavily influenced by people that I looked at as mentors, even though they didn't even know that they were mentoring me, and Kevin was certainly one of my mentors. His work ethic was impeccable, and that's the thing that I take from him the most. He truly cared about the people that he rocked with. He always added value in every single conversation, even if he just gave you a He always added value, and you were always trying to figure out how it was that he was able to do some of the things that he was able to do because he was just so talented. And him being able to truly see the growth that he saw prior to his untimely demise, I think that that's beautiful. And we gave him his flowers while he was here. We're certainly going to continue to give him his flowers when he's gone. I think that the legacy of Kevin Samuels does not live in any one of us, but all of us, and that we have to continue to be the best versions of ourselves. Kev, I love you. I appreciate you. I am thankful that you were blessed to be a part of my life. I cried when you passed away, but now I think it's a celebration. And so I'm very, very, very appreciative to have known you. And I think that the spirit of who you are lives through us all.
Happy birthday, Kevin. I miss you, brother.
Mediocre tutorials.
I know you're
and
probably
reviews.
smiling down from heaven right now, but probably not very pleased that I have Jordans on right now. You always told me to get rid of them. He said, throw them in the trash. I got some Chelsea boots back order that you would absolutely approve of. Trust me. Give me some time, though, all right? But jokes aside, though, Kevin, my brother, happy birthday. We absolutely miss you. Your continued impact on this world is nothing short of inspiring. You showed us how to impact lives. You showed us how to make a difference. You showed us how to cut through the noise on a journey towards your purpose. You showed us how to make a difference and have a positive change within this world. And for that, I am forever grateful. We are forever grateful. But today, we celebrate you, and we continue to defend you and your legacy. And we'd have it no other way, because we know that you do the same for us. To conclude, I just wanted to share a quick short story regarding the first time that I met Kevin in person. All right, now after months of establishing a friendship with him via the phone, one day he was like, yo, let's go to Vegas and let's get some content in, right? So one of the days that we had off, we actually traveled to his personal favorite clothing store of all time, Tom Ford. And when I tell you, when we got in there and it was his arena, it was absolutely his arena. It was like he was at home. I mean, he was the most knowledgeable person in that store regarding the styles, the fits, the colors, what works well with what, the different scents, then the sales associates, right? And they all just stood back and just listened. And I remember thinking to myself that this is a man that knows who he is and that understands his purpose, and he understands what makes him happy in life. And with so many men today struggling to find their individual purpose, watching Uncle Kevin go through that, it was simply a sight to see. Happy birthday, Kevin. You've set an amazing example. You've changed uncountable lives, and your legacy will always live on.
Lead attorney here. I am so happy to be a part of Kevin Samuels' birthday celebration. He changed so many people's lives for the better. Certainly changed my life for the better. When I think back to how I first was introduced to Kevin and how our relationship, our friendship began to form, I never would have thought that it would have ended up how it did. So profound an impact that it had on me. You know, when I first started talking to Kevin, it was always through emails, and he would never say my name. He would just say counselor and counselor this and counselor that. Even when he invited me down to Miami for our first collaboration, when I was waiting for him to come down the elevator and I was in the lobby and we met for the first time face to face, I wouldn't necessarily describe his demeanor as cold. You know, maybe that's too strong of a word, but it was certainly businesslike. It was certainly professional. And in that collaboration, you know, we shot the collab for maybe an hour or so. But then after the cameras went off, he sat there and he talked to me about YouTube. And this was very important to me as a relatively newer YouTuber who didn't have an understanding of the platform, didn't understand how the platform would interact with my life in such a profound way. And he talked to me and gave me so much game for about 2 hours after that collaboration. Lord knows he did not need to do that. He got nothing out of those 2 hours. And to be honest, he got nothing for the collaboration himself. He was just doing it to help me. And as our friendship started to form more, we would talk more over the phone. And then one day, I'll never forget, he sent me an Apple Pay. He sent me some money. He sent me $1. And I asked him, I said, what's up with this $1? And he said, that is my retainer. And now I've retained you. And now our communications are covered by attorney-client privilege. And that's when he really opened up to me and told me things that really just changed the trajectory of my career here on YouTube and really my life. And the game that he taught me about content creation, about manhood, about life from his perspective as a person from a prior generation. I couldn't have got that knowledge, that wisdom from anywhere else. And now he's gone. But his story, his power did not end there. You know, when we had that collaboration in Miami, he put up a post on his community tab, and it was a photo of me and him at his table, and he was talking to me. And above that photo, he put a caption. And the caption was just 2 words. And the caption read, "It continues." And he was right. His story, his impact, his influence continues on through me. His story, his impact, his influence continues on through other content creators like Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, like O'Shea Duke Jackson. His impact, his influence continues on through Anton Daniels, through the Style OG, through Dennis. It continues on through newer content creators like AV to the 7th Power. His influence and impact continues on through content creators that have yet to turn on the camera for their first video. But aside from content creators, he had so much of an impact, so much of an influence on the community at large. Over 1 million followers on Instagram, over 1 million followers on YouTube. All of the insight that he provided to women on how men think. All of the insight that he provided, the guidance he provided to men about how we should increase our value, focusing on our style, focusing on our mentality. And even as we continue to increase our value, He instilled in us the belief that we had value inherently, something that society a lot of the times will try to make us forget. Kevin never wanted men to forget their value. He is gone, but his channel continues to grow. People continue to be impacted by his story, by his wisdom. And as people are impacted, millions of people, not only in the United States, but from all across the world, we can never forget that all these millions of people have had their lives changed and lives improved by one man. You know, there will never be another Kevin Samuels. Kevin, I miss you. We all miss you. And we all love you. Happy birthday.
What's up, everybody? My name is Mumia Obsidian Ali, and I am very, very pleased and humbled and honored to be tapped to say a few words in remembrance of our good friend and dearly departed brother Kevin Samuels. I affectionately refer to him as Saint Kevin, and I just wanted to say a few words. People told me to try to make it brief, but yeah, it's been a very difficult year for me. You know, dealing with his passing and reflecting on it on a daily basis. He and I used to talk almost on a daily basis the last few years of his life, about maybe 3 years of his life, let's say. And we had a lot of conversations about YouTube, business, and that sort of thing. But we also had a lot of more, you know, I guess you could say personal conversations. And I've talked a little bit about them publicly, and I would like to relate an anecdote or two right now in remembrance of him. One day we were having a conversation, and he had talked a lot about style personalities. And out of curiosity, I asked him what he thought my style personality was. And without skipping a beat, he said refined. He went on to say that because of the way that I presented myself into the world, people didn't see the refinement in me. They saw something else. He said, but on the inside, you're a gentleman through and through. It's not reflected on the outside. And he went on to say a number of other things that really got me to thinking. Then another time we had a conversation, and I just asked him, because he would call me like every day. And I asked him one day, I said, listen, man, let me ask you a question. Real talk. Why me? And he said, excuse me? He said, I mean, you call me almost on an everyday basis. And I mean, you know, there's a whole lot of other guys that you could be calling and talking to and so forth. And why me? And he said, without skipping the beat again, he said, because you're the only one that showed up and did the work. Now, this is after the refined gentleman conversation. I had taken his advice, his implied advice, and just snapped one day and just completely changed my presentation to the world. I went down and got my tailored suit, and I never looked back. And so some time had passed, and that's when we had the conversation I just told you about. And one other quick anecdote I'll relate to you is that when he went to promote my book, I had no idea he was going to do that. I was flat on my back, sick at the time, and he went and did that. And now what was a commercial ad is now something of a living memorial to me. That was the kind of man that Kevin was. Very kind and generous and understated. He did not have to do that. I went back and did my own little homework. You know, the valuation of doing something like that is basically the equivalent of buying a commercial during the Super Bowl. Would have cost me 20 grand if he really wanted to do that. He could charge people that kind of money. That's the kind of money that he was worth at this point in his life. This is the summer of 2021. Did that for free. And I didn't ask him to do it. Had no idea that he was going to do it. And it just goes to show you what kind of man he was. I'm very dismayed at the way that he was treated by detractors in the wake of his passing, and even now, to this day, now coming up on a year. But I'm always heartened by the kindness and generosity and true humanity that he showed to me. He's been a friend to me when other men were not. And I will always remember that about Kevin, and will always try to live up to the example that he has set. And to all of his friends, his mother, his daughter, well-wishers, I hope you will all join me in saying happy birthday to St. Kevin. This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. Thank you for listening, and I love you, Kevin. Peace.
Greetings, everyone. Jeff, your style OG. First of all, I want to thank Kevin's friends, family, and team for inviting me to speak on this joyous occasion, celebrating both Kevin's birthday and his legacy. And although I'm very excited to speak about Kevin on this day, it still is surreal. It feels unreal that he's not here. But one thing that can't be denied that's definitely real, the impact and legacy Kevin Samuels left behind. I believe Kevin's impact will be felt for generations to come. He definitely moved the needle, especially when it comes to male and female relationships, specifically in our community. And as someone who got to know Kevin pretty well over the last several years, I can't emphasize enough what his message was. He wanted to bring us together. He wanted us to have strong, fulfilling, lasting relationships. And even more importantly, for us to get married. And as someone who spoke to Kevin a lot firsthand about what he was trying to accomplish, he really wanted to get people what they wanted, especially the ladies out there. I know for a lot of ladies, after you wade through some of what you considered the harsh tone, he wanted you to get what you truly wanted, the man that you were really looking for. But he also wanted you to do the work that it took to get that man. But I don't want to leave the fellas out either. My guys who are aware of Kevin know before he blew up, he was going hard at us, giving us tough love. Not only did he expect a lot out of the women, he expected even more from us, the men. It's very important to me that I share to the ladies out there, Kevin truly loved you. He told me this over and over and over. He knew that he had to give you a bit of tough love, a bit of straightening, but he knew if you eventually got the message, you and all of us would be better off for it. He knew that the key to building up our community was strong relationships and families. For any of us that watched Kevin's content over the last several years, we know he was making a huge impact. He was bringing men and women together. I believe it's very important for content creators like myself and the others you'll watch on today's video tribute to continue to share Kevin's message in our own unique ways. I also want to stress the importance of you, the listener, the viewers, the fans of Kevin Samuels' content. I want you to continue to watch it, but more importantly, share with other people you know can use it. I know there's so many people out there who are watching this right now whose lives were made better, who saw great improvements in their outcomes based on Kevin's message. If it helped you, I'm sure somebody else that you know can definitely use the help. So I strongly encourage you to like, subscribe, and more importantly, share this content with other people. And I mean this content, not the bootlegs other people have created. By sharing Kevin's content, the content on his channel, that's how you make sure his legacy continues to grow and he has impact on men and women for years to come. And by doing so, you help his legacy take care of the loved ones Kevin left behind. And to my dear friend Kevin, on your birthday, I can't express to you how much I and millions of other people truly miss you. You did what many of us men are striving to do and did it in spades. You left behind a huge legacy. You left your mark on this world. So on this birthday celebration, I want to say to my friend Kevin Samuels, we miss you, we love you, salute.
I don't know many women who wanted to have a kid and didn't want to work after that. I definitely don't fit in that bracket. The concept of a high value man is to shoulder and is to carry the brunt, to be the general. And I think more so what I'd like to see is joint leadership and then joint respect for what each person is bringing to the table. Which I think is fascinating because I think a lot of people would assume from the clips that they've seen of you that you're asking women to settle for less.
No.
To lower their standards or to be more realistic about their potential for partners, and then as a result, to look within a pool that they would.
All right, y'all, I think I'm going to stop it right here. If y'all want to continue his life and legacy, go ahead and go to his channel. I appreciate you all stopping by and watching it with me. But until the next time, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm going to try my very best to post more content. But yeah, enjoy your month of March, and let's go into April real strong. Peace.